We're a small island and we control or endeavour to our population level, not only through job licences, and we've spoken quite a bit about that throughout these hustings, but also through housing control. And unfortunately, one of the unintended consequences of that, which I think you're absolutely right, there hasn't really been a light shone upon it, is the conditions which some individuals in our community live in that unqualified sector. And I've got to say, it's absolutely and completely unacceptable. As Francis has said, things are being done to alleviate that. Yes, there will be a tenancy deposit scheme. Yes, there will be security of tenure in the unqualified sector. The housing department perhaps has historically only really looked at social housing within our community. It now plans to, in a way, change its mission. Yes, it's going to ensure that social housing is appropriately invested in, but it will also turn itself into something much more strategic, so it can look at housing generally. And these are the very issues that it will need to address, and I know they're committed to addressing because I've been sitting on that transformation programme, and we absolutely, once and for all, have to say, no, these are issues which must be addressed. We cannot live with them anymore because it's unacceptable. Thank you.
Yes, rights and protection scheme essential. Obviously, it would help if we build properties to the higher building regulation standards of installation, damp proofing, etc. First off. But I have to say, the other thing the state should do is set a decent example. £65 million behind on our housing repairs improvements. That's not an example to set to private landlords, is it? And that's causing a lot of the problems that we talked about there. And the other thing that I would suggest if you are a tenant you keep an eye out for is, whether you're qualified or non-qualified actually, is the long-term care proposals package and the funding to that. Because that 1.5% increase in social security contains an insurance element. Essentially, there will be a discount for house owners up to £750,000, but for tenants, not very much at all. And you're paying for that. So I'll take a look at those details when they come out over you.
I normally advocate less government involvement, but in this case, and the whole housing issue, I think we need more government involvement. I mean, we've got the crazy situation where we spend tens of millions of pounds on the rent abatement system for the qualified sector, and this is just money going into the landlord's pockets. I mean, surely this money would be better in the tenant's pockets, but we could be spending it in the shops. I mean, also with the luxury flats, I know you briefly mentioned that, we've got outside investors buying up luxury flats, collecting the rents, paying no tax over here. So, I mean, at the very least, we should have capital gains tax.
Indeed, it was 1953 when the Landlords and Tenants Act was introduced to England and Wales. So why there's been no law in the 58 years since? Given that we copy every other law from England, you have to ask the people who've been in power. Houses in Jersey are overvalued. An average family home, it would seem to me, should be affordable on an average family income. One of the problems I am aware of is that it's very expensive for people once their children have left home. There's no motive to move out of your 4-bedroom house and into a smaller property because the price of the 2-bedroom flats are so expensive. And then when you look at why they are so expensive, it's that they are set by the level of accommodation allowance on income support. It is possible to buy a flat, let it out to someone on income support, receive the subsidy from the government, and that will pay your mortgage and make you a reasonably good profit. The biggest thing we can do is actually to reduce demand, and I'm afraid for that we need to bring in some form of immigration control which will remove people from the island. If we remove the pressure from the market, well, the market itself will drive bad landlords out of business. Thank you.